That's fine with me.
Hello and welcome back to Brother, your sanctuary for your 80s movies and 90s reviews. I'm Carl.
I'm Nicky, and this is going to be the Lethal Weapon movie review, 1987, the year I was born.
Every time we do that little intro, I always think, together we are...
Yeah.
The Barons.
Yeah, the Barons.
Yeah, so Lethal Weapon, you said you wanted to do this because, a little nod to, what's he called, Danny Glover?
Danny Glover, yeah. It was Danny Glover's 73rd birthday on Monday, so I thought it'd be like a nice little belated birthday present when he hears
73.
I no doubt you'll hear it, and I'll be like buzzing that we've done this for his birthday.
Right, so obviously a lot of movie goers will know Lethal Weapon as being one of the iconic films. What year was it?
1987. 1987, that year I was born. There's like an age old debate about this though, same as Die Hard, where is it a Christmas film, is it not a Christmas film?
I'm in the side of saying no, it's not a Christmas film, even though it's set at Christmas, and you can be forgiven that when the film starts, it's Jingle Bell Rock getting played out, so you'd be thinking watching Home Alone. Do you know what I mean? So,
well, there's loads of Christmas references throughout as well, though, isn't there, as well? And at the end, they sit down for Christmas dinner.
Oh, I mean, you see Christmas lights, you see some Santas and that at some point in the background. Now.
Well, that's why it's the same. It's literally the same argument.
But it's set in sunny LA, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So Lethal Weapon, it's got to be up there with one of the best for me.
It's iconic. It's definitely iconic.
You've got Mel Gibson and obviously Danny Glover, who are an unlikely pairing.
Yeah.
Believe me, you.
Yeah. So, well, it's good though because the chemistry that throughout the film is apparent. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? When not Danny Glover, sorry, the Roger Murtaugh's part was Murtaugh.
You struggle with that one, didn't you?
I do struggle with that one.
Murtaugh.
When his part was cast, they didn't have any sort of ethnicity in mind. They didn't say we need a black guy kind of thing. He was just the best fit for the role during the application process of that.
I'll tell you what's interesting about this, right? This was written by a guy called Shane Black.
Aye, that's right.
And that name stood out when the new Predator came out.
Mm-hmm.
So he was obviously, I'm sure he wrote it. But Shane Black had a part in the original Predator movie.
Oh, really?
Aye, because what happened the other week, me and Nicky were watching a film. It was it Trading Places, and there was a random guy who had a part in it, and I said,
oh yeah.
And judging the book by its cover, I said, look at him, man, he's probably never done a part ever in his life.
I remember that.
And then Nicky googled him, and he turned out he was this massive producer, and he
was him off Breaking Bad, wasn't he? Was that him off Breaking Bad? Was it?
No, I don't think
was that a different guy?
That was a different one. But I saw my reference to that is this guy Shane Black has a part in Predator. He's in the original team with Arnie.
That's crazy.
And I'll come back to that a bit later because we are reviewing Lethal Weapon.
Well, speaking of it, was it Shane Black?
Well, Shane Black in Predator, quickly, right? No, he played, the comms guy.
Aye.
And he always has to explain the punchline.
Aye.
That's Shane Black.
Oh, is that him? Is it?
Aye. So I was thinking he's never did out after that.
Aye.
But he's.
It was funny because obviously he wrote Lethal Weapon, like you're saying there. He actually threw it in the bin. At one point, he thought this is shite. Literally, hurled it in the bin. Nah, this is no good. This. Christ. How crazy is that? And then he decided to kind of revisit it.
Well, and, put it this way.
Here we are.
I'll put it this way. It went on to have 3 sequels because there's 4 Lethal Weapons.
Then he had 4, didn't he? He only had 4 sequels, but instead of doing the 5th one, they did a TV show, which is probably what you're about to say there.
TV series. No, I wasn't. He spat his tea out there. Right, so it starts basically LA, nighttime.
Yeah.
That aerial shot of the city.
Aye.
Going into this LA apartment.
Aye, the upper floor in it.
And you see this blonde lass obviously out of her head. Well, no, she's she's half asleep and then she wakes up.
Which you find out later she's a prostitute, didn't you?
Aye. I trust you remember that bit. But no, she literally wakes up and then her first thing is to do a line of coke.
Aye.
So it's obviously this is drugs.
Aye.
So it's setting the scene.
Aye,
this
100%.
is
I wonder if she knows that she's been was it poisoned?
Poisoned? I didn't find that out later.
Well, you don't find out later, but I wonder if she knew that she'd been poisoned. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe the fact that she was is what set her off her nut.
Aye, because what she did, she basically sort of, commit suicide, didn't she?
I struggled to watch that scene.
Is it?
When she jumped off.
She jumped off 2... She's put it this way, if she was doing a bungee jump, she'd be unreal, wouldn't she? Because she literally just...
just falls forward.
Aye, there was no hesitation whatsoever.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. Aye.
So you're not
she's going to swimming lesson. Number one, slide in.
Aye. So from that, it then goes on to obviously one of the main characters, which is Danny Glover, which is Roger Murtaugh.
Yeah.
Obviously, his family busting on him when he's in the bathroom.
Ironically for his birthday.
Aye.
Ironically, because
What I take from that scene is how good his beard is.
Yes,
It's a good. And then he shaves it off.
But the funny thing is, though, like I didn't even notice he shaved.
But like that cop as well.
I bet like the cop, some detective you are. I didn't notice either, to be fair, until it was brought up, and I wonder if that was why they did it.
Maybe
because I didn't notice until it was brought up, and I thought it was like a subtle.
For those that don't know, obviously, like we're an admirer of a good beard, aren't we?
Oh, I with the beard.
So we'll pick up on that in like later episodes on different films. But
maybe we should do like a beard episode and just talk about famous 80s beards.
Which ones were the best?
Aye. If anyone listening has a favourite 80s beard, by all means, don't forget like to tweet with at B2B Movie Pod on Twitter.
Dutch comes to mind straight away. Sorry, back on Predator. Nah, but he does though.
Aye.
But I saw like obviously Murtaugh's in the bath, and then obviously that from then it sort of like gives you the impression he may be going through a midlife crisis because like his daughter's like, oh, you look older with the beard, you got grey hair and all that.
Yeah, aye.
Well, he's 50, isn't he? Like,
Aye, well, yeah, he's turning 50. It's one of them as well. Like, I think they use that scene to really paint the picture of that Rod. I'm going to call him Rog because I kind of get used to his last name at all. That Roger's family life, you know what I mean? Like, in the scene, like, he's a family man, like, close family knit. And I think they really try to, like, put that across, like, when he's having his morning breakfast with his family and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
You going in depth? Yeah.
No, but it's... I think they do that because it sets you up for when it finally introduces Riggs, which...
Well, I'll take on from there because you've just set it up for us, thank you.
Yeah.
It goes to Riggs, didn't it, in his caravan?
Yeah, which is the polar opposite of
his life.
Of Roger's life, aye. So that it like sets the tone straight away. Like, I mean,
it's an awful caravan.
It is.
It's worse than my brother's.
It is, aye. But it's one of them as well. I was again reading about that scene. Originally, there was meant to be like a few like blokes like giving that. Now that he's got a dog, there's meant to be a few blokes giving that dog a hiding.
Was it?
Aye, these were the like one of the original ones, and then obviously Riggs turns up and like saves the day kind of thing or something on the lines of that. You know what I mean? Like, then that was the original caravan scene.
Oh, was it?
Aye.
But they chucked it on the floor.
But instead, they decided that they would paint this like sad, lonely picture of this widower.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Who's close to suicide or whatever.
But you still get the impression that a dog's his only mate, don't you?
Well, yeah.
I don't think the naked shot of his ass was necessary. Like,
Well, we've already had a bit of tit at the start. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to have a bit man ass to get the female audience involved a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Speaking of tits, but right. So that gives us a little intro to Riggs, obviously down at the beach,
and the difference between them. Aye.
Does he even look at a picture of his? No, that's a second scene, isn't it?
No, I think there might be a picture of his wife there. I'm not sure if it makes a thing of it.
Yeah. So, well, that's Riggs at the caravan, and then it goes to Riggs, like, sort of sitting in on a drug little deal.
Aye, the Christmas tree shop.
Aye.
That's like your
that's
first...
a class little...
It is. It's a good scene. That's your first, like...
Taste of Riggs.
Taste there, that's the word. That's your first taste of Riggs, which I think...
And he's having a taste of, like, coke.
Yeah, he's just like... he's like... It's hilarious, though, when they're like, 100, and he just calls like $93. He's like 94.
One of them interrupts him and he goes, "Yeah, don't mind, I'm trying to keep counting." It's like $100.
He's $100 grand.
That is hilarious.
But it's one of them though. Like he really portrays himself as a nutcase, and
he does in that moment because he starts hitting himself.
He does.
You think I'm crazy?
Aye, but he's a badass as well though.
Pulls his gun.
Aye, because he pulls a gun. They don't believe he's a copper, which I think is hilarious. Like they're like trying to call a bluff that isn't a bluff.
Little badge.
Aye, and then obviously there's a guy like hiding in the fucking like lorry.
Shooting him.
Aye, goes like, so straight away it shows his marksmanship as well, where he's like turn around 180, boom, kill him, kill that guy, kill this guy.
But then the guy gets a hold of Riggs, didn't he?
Aye, and Riggs just doesn't care.
He's like, "Come on, shoot me."
Aye, he's like putting the gun in his mouth, like, "Come on, do it."
Aye,
and then he just doesn't do it. Unreal.
Well, the guy...
I don't think he does put the gun in his mouth. I think he just puts it towards his head and that, doesn't he? Like,
what, Riggs to him, or...
Aye, because he's telling everyone to shoot him because he doesn't care if they miss.
Right, aye.
He's like, "Oh, shoot him," and if like he literally is that suicidal. If they miss, so what? I'm dead. Like,
he's acting that crazy that he throws the guy and the guy just loses concentration and gets the gun from him.
Unreal.
But then Riggs' co-worker sort of says he's not worth it and all that. And...
Aye, basically. And then obviously that's what I'm sure is that what takes you to when he goes back to the caravan again. It gives you that bit more of an in-depth.
I still got that. Obviously, you got that drug deal scene there, and then back to his caravan, like where he's obviously sort of like.
That's when he puts the gun in his mouth and that in it.
Aye.
Because it actually shows you like. That's that side of him. Like obviously, like you don't know that he's suicidal I'm not until you get a bit of a
Like,
taste
puts a
of
gun in his mouth.
Aye, you don't know he's suicidal until he gets. He's a bit of a nutter in the Christmas tree shop, but then when he actually gets back to his trailer that night and he puts a gun in his mouth, and he's crying, he's had a drink, looking at the picture of his wife.
I actually had it in one of my little notes. Riggs tastes bullet.
Yeah. Aye. So that's when you like, it paints the picture of this guy's an idiot, but he's also like extremely like suicidal kind of thing.
Well, that's good, mate. Like, you came to that bit, because I'm sure like you've got the psychologist at work, who the blonde lass who's like saying like Riggs is psychotic, he's on the edge.
Aye.
Like, he shouldn't be in the field and that.
Aye.
And the guy's like, he's all right and all this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
well, don't they like joke about him playing the mental game? Because I'm sure they do. Because that's why when he meets Rog, he says like, either way I'm fucked or something like that. Because he says that you either think I'm doing this.
Aye.
Did he?
That's right. I would have a little conversation in the car.
Aye.
In the car park.
Aye, and he's like, so either way I'm fucked.
But he has a little bit as well, like, because I don't know if you noticed this. I always used to think this when I was younger as well. Like, you had like titles of films, and they always get the title of the film in the film. So when he's talking to Riggs, he sort of says, "You're into martial arts, Tai Chi. We should have you registered as a
lethal weapon."
Aye. So always like look for that in the film.
A subtle nod.
I'm not like saying that is in every film, but it's in the majority.
It features a lot in the film Twins.
Well, seeing that, like, I'm looking at your T-shirt now, Jaws.
Aye, not once.
I was going to say he's not actually.
It might do, because it might say like
something in the jaws
when you're in the jaws of a shark or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think it is like. I'm not sure.
Alright, so they obviously have their little. Well, actually, we'll skip a little bit there as they have their meet in the car park. Before that, he gets introduced to Riggs in the station, didn't he?
Alright, well that's the scene where you see Roger with no beard, and the detective's like, "Oh, you're the chief," and he's like, "Some detective you are."
When he gets told that he's going to get a new partner and that, and he sees this guy just sitting there like with a little like, jacket on, a cap on, Riggs starts getting his gun out and that, and he just
gun, and he like charges him, then he Riggs just like drops him.
There's like a judo sort of flip on.
Aye, unreal. There's a few little like nods to martial arts and stuff in there, like, because obviously he's like you say he's the lethal weapon kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, he's quality.
Aye, but I'm sure like Gary Busey like learned Taekwondo for his part in this film. I'm sure.
I think that's, you know, I haven't got to them yet. Like, obviously the main bad guys in this, and it is Gary Busey.
Aye, it's funny though. It's one of them. It's a funny film though. Like, it is a funny film, but you don't actually see the bad guys much.
Yeah, he hasn't got much of a part, has he?
No, I don't think any of the bad guys.
He plays like Joshua, didn't he?
Aye, Mr. Call me Mr. Joshua.
That's right. So when they go to like some guy who's wanting to do a drug deal.
Obviously. Oh, that's an unreal scene, that though.
It is, because like
maybe it's a good thing, you know, like the bad guys aren't in it much, because that little scene there is enough to make you know that Joshua is an absolute nut job. Do you know what I mean?
Because the guy, one of the other main guys, well, saying main guys now, he's just like the older fella.
The general or something he's called, isn't he?
He sort of like says, "Do you smoke?" And he's like, "Why do you want to know that?" And he says, "You got your lighter?"
Aye. And
he sort of gets a hold of his arm and that, and Joshua just puts his arm out, doesn't he?
I pulled it over this naked flame.
Aye.
And just
doesn't budge.
You can see him like he's like wincing a little bit, but he just doesn't budge. Like you say, it doesn't budge. Just
I'll be like,
ah! 100%. I've had a clip of bird and cried for weeks about it. Do you know what I mean? Never mind holding me arm over a naked flame. But great seeing that. Really like hammers home that this Joshua is the real deal.
So like from there, like you've got like Roger has his little encounter with Hunsaker, did he? You know, like Hunsaker's the guy. Hunsaker, his daughter is the one that dies at the start.
Aye.
Who's obviously like involved with the drugs and that, isn't he?
Aye. But obviously, well, yeah, but he phones Roger at the very start. Does he all got a missed call? And he's like, "Off Hunsaker."
His wife's asking questions. Is that like an old Vietnam buddy or something?
Aye, because his wife's asking questions like, "Well, how come you never mentioned him?" And he was like, "Well, because he was never really like a big part of my life, basically." Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's why again it like kind of like adds to like the mystery of why this phone call was held. But then obviously like she's killed herself, and then it starts to really unfold as the film goes on.
Yeah. Right. So Roger goes to, I'm not sure where he's in his workplace or something, because he's sort of like talking to this Mertzacker guy. Hunsaker, sorry. Mertzacker, that's a football, isn't it? And, but that Hunsaker saying to him, like, "You always won, Roger, you always won." So that's obviously like from back in the day, like when they've been in the army together, do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So, and he's telling Roger to kill them all and that. He's like, "Can I kill them? I'm a cutter, man." But I see Riggs in the background, like, interested, like his ears pop up, like, "I want to kill them," do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Like, you just get the feeling Riggs wants to have, like, blood on his hands.
Aye. Like, yeah, he's like he's a loose cannon, isn't he? and that's like apparent throughout the film, like, and that's why if it goes to a point, I think I'm skipping a bit here, but so we'll backtrack when we need to. But when they're at that like mansion thing, and Murtaugh shoots that guy in the leg, and he's like, see that, Riggs, you don't have to kill everybody, kind of thing. I shot him in the leg, and now we can question him, blah blah blah.
Well, that's it. Like, I think just before that scene is the iconic scene, isn't it? Where they get called to the
roof,
the jumper. There's a guy going to jump off the building. But this is what I find funny. I've just thought about this afterwards. Gulliver knows he's potentially suicidal.
Aye.
Why does he send Riggs up to like someone down a jumper? But if it works brilliant, like.
Oh, it does.
So, but I love how Riggs' opening line as he walks up, like, he just shouts "Merry Christmas," like
like you know, like notes about that.
Aye, like Merry Christmas.
Aye.
Then he goes serious, like, "What are you doing this for?" Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Class. But like you say, it is like an iconic scene, and again, really like hammering home the fact that Riggs just does not care at all. Like, absolutely doesn't care.
I think that for me, that's one of Mel Gibson's like best roles.
Aye.
Seriously.
Aye, it is up there. Like,
for me, obviously you got Braveheart and that, but like,
I love Braveheart.
Lethal Weapon, man, that was like, I think he was at his peak. Me, like you know, as a young sort of Mel Gibson.
It was a good film. He's done a few, you know. Like,
that's a good film.
I know. You've got like Mad Max and stuff as well. Though, do you know what I mean? Like he's done a few good ones. Like I thought he was alright in Signs, to be fair. Like, but that's obviously like a lot more like recent.
So back to the ledge.
Yeah, back to the ledge. He handcuffs himself.
He obviously tries to like sort of like humanise himself. He's like, "Do you want to smoke? Just smoke."
Aye.
And I think he leans over, didn't he? And he just hides the cuff on him.
Aye.
And the guy's like, "What you doing, man?"
It's a good move. It's a good idea. It's a good idea because like you're about to say.
But it's classic. Goes key. Bye. How's the key?
Yeah.
He goes, "You're gonna jump. You'll be killing the cop. Come on, let's go."
Aye, exactly.
That is hilarious.
It's one of them though, isn't it? Because if he jumps, he kills a cop. He kills himself anyway. So like, it wouldn't have mattered really. Like, so in the long run. It gets
to the point where he says, "I'll jump," and like Riggs is like thinking, "Do you want to jump?" Like,
he does it. Then he nails that. He nails that though, because he's like calls his bluff, didn't he?
Psycho. Because
he
jumps.
Because you can tell this guy isn't going to jump. He's like creating a scene.
I don't know about you, like, but I kind of wanted to do the jump as well. Like, you know, when you see like what he lands on.
Aye.
I thought we made doing that jump.
Aye, that looks alright.
Should we do it? Cuff together.
Do you want to jump, Jarrah Flats?
For anyone that doesn't know, like me and Nicky, a couple of Geordie lads, you know, you can probably get that from
the twang.
Aye. So from there, obviously Murtaugh's not happy with Riggs, and he pulls him into this like little side shop.
Aye, hilarious bit though. I don't know if you noticed.
Swings the door.
He like slams. Goes to slam the door and just swings around the other side. Class.
That's quite reality, that, though, isn't it? Because that can happen, can't it? When you're raging, and it's not happening.
Aye, I've wanted to do it before. I went to slam a door, but it was one of them ones, one of them anti-slams. I went to slam a door and it like came like a polite stop, and I was like raging that I didn't slam.
That's hilarious.
Aye.
So he gets him in that shop, and he's like saying like, "Do you want to die? Are you crazy?"
Yeah, this is where Murtaugh gets a first taste of how truly nuts he is, and he even like tells him as well, doesn't he? Like, look, I've got like a special bullet for the occasion, like, do you know what I mean? So like,
I think about doing it every day.
Yeah.
But he says to him like, and you know what is it? You know what? You might find this laughable or something like, it's the job that stops us doing it. He loves the job. He loves chasing the bad guys, doesn't he?
Which is crazy when you think about it. Do you know what I mean?
So I think it is crazy. Sorry, Nick. Yeah.
No, sorry. Keep going.
So from there, like, that is the scene you were talking about, where they get a lead and they obviously go to that house, don't they, that mansion.
Aye.
And straight away they see a couple of lasses doing a bit.
I've doing a few lines. Well, are they not storing it into a bag?
Maybe
doing it?
they're probably doing it as well, man.
I will be. It's like if you work in a chip shop in it, you hide some chips in a bag and hide a few in your mouth at the same time. It'd be the same kind of thing, wouldn't
it? So from there, obviously, they peg it.
This is like, if again though, quickly, obviously, this is what I was saying before. We shoots the guy in the leg, he falls in the pool. That was a hard scene to watch. Like that blanket just like engulfing him. But I thought, like, why are they trying to free him? Just like raise him to the surface. Do you know what I mean? Like, they try and free him under the water. Just lift him up.
And he was just dead.
Aye, basically. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. So it was a hard scene, and that's what he says when he gets out of the water. Like, is anyone you've met that you haven't killed, Riggs?
Aye, class, man, class. But like I say, like, it was one of them. Like you say, like, he shoots it in the leg, but that was right. He shoots him in the leg, and then the guy pulls a gun again, doesn't he? So Riggs just has to just blow him away, and that's when he falls in the pool, man.
He does.
So it wasn't. It's just in case he shot him in the leg. He fell in the pool. He shot in the leg, and then it wasn't enough. That was when he was his interview speech. Oh, now we're still asking questions and blah blah blah.
Right.
But
so that's still kind of early on in like Riggs and Murtaugh's relationship, isn't it?
It is. Well, it is because obviously,
is it not after that where they have a little bit breakthrough where they're sitting in the car and that? And
well, because he's just saved his life, isn't he? Like, Riggs saves Murtaugh's life in that scene, because that guy who's shot in the leg goes to pull a gun out, and then Riggs just blows him away, he falls in the pool or whatever, and that's when Murtaugh's like, obviously thankfully saved his life, so he's like, yeah, like come meet me family, have dinner, you know what I mean, enjoy, like see if you can stomach me wife's cooking kind of thing, do you know what I mean, and they have like a proper bond and experience, don't they, do you know what I mean?
It backfires though because his daughter fancies Riggs.
Good looking bloke, do you know what I mean?
He is.
But so that was like you say, that's like because that Roger Murtaugh was like a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
Not all over the place. Sorry, he just didn't know whether or not he could trust Riggs. But after that scene, that was when the bond started to come, and like I say, and they met the family and blah blah blah.
There's a lesson learned here. I've got a shitload of notes and I cannot read it, so don't do them quickly ever. Do you know what I mean? Do
them digitally, mate. Can't go wrong with digital writing.
Too much time typing on. So from there, obviously, what happens after that bit?
So he meets the Murtaughs because obviously saved his life, and obviously, like you say, the daughter takes a liking to Riggs, and then they're fixing the boat, don't they? And Riggs gives a story about his marksmanship, about how he's a good shooter. And he was what's that line he says? He's like, only 10 people in the world could have made that shot, because he's talking about this like shot he's done like when he was in the military or whatever, which is.
Oh, is that when they're having a bit bond on the boat?
On the boat, aye, and then obviously, so you start like uncover like a bit of Riggs, and obviously the bond gets stronger and stronger. That's when obviously Roger's daughter comes out, and they have the weed. I start talking about the drugs and that, and well, it's funny. It's ahead of its time slightly. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, she's like talking about, well, at least it's not coke. Do you know what I mean?
I know. I was thinking like that was talking about like a blasé, wasn't it?
Aye. But if you look at it now though, like in LA especially, it is actually legal now, so it's somewhat ahead of its time. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. So I think from there, because when is it? I'm trying to think. At what part, when this Dixie gets mentioned, she's a witness to. She's a witness to something. Sorry,
I can't think.
But anyway, they go to check out the house. It blows up.
Yes. Because you were saying that funny. You was what?
No, it's one of them. Like
you were saying, there was like a funny bit with the kids outside the house, weren't you?
Either way, because the kids were like shouting, "You're gonna fuck Dixie! You're gonna fuck Dixie!" Who's a prostitute who witnesses
Was she not the one that drugs thingamajig at the start?
Aye. But anyway, Dixie's like a witness to like all this drugs and like and what have you. So they obviously go out and check the house, and as they're walking up to the house, it blows up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So from there, obviously, there's a witness to who's done it, and it's a kid.
Aye, he sees the paint. He keeps saying paint. I'm sure that's what he says, paint.
Like, he obviously doesn't know what a tattoo is.
Aye.
But so obviously, like, Murtaugh takes it upon himself to try and like interview this kid, but he's got his little schoolmates like sort of saying,
it's funny little scene there.
What they're saying, like, don't talk to him, Alfred. Don't give him your name. Just give him your name.
Aye.
But
they say to him, how old are you? And like one of them covers his mouth and answers anyway, don't they? Like 12 or something like that. Whatever he says.
Aye, but I think they soon realise that get rid of the other kids. We'll get this one on his own.
Aye. And that's when he sees.
And that's when he's breaking it down. He's sort of saying, was this guy white, black? Did he have black hair, grey hair?
Aye,
blonde. He was blonde.
Aye.
And obviously he was describing Joshua, wasn't he?
Aye. But he sees Riggs tattooed, didn't he? And then he starts saying paint, and he's like, well, what paint?
So it's a Special Forces tattoo.
And then that's when Riggs is like, that's a Special Forces tattoo. But they were already, if you remember, Riggs was already suspicious about them being potentially Special Forces because they find a part of the explosive, and Riggs says like, this is like the real McCoy kind of stuff. This is like stuff you'd see the CIA.
This is the only thing he'd seen in Nam and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So he knew then like dealing with like the real McCoy kind of thing. So obviously when that kid confirmed that he saw that tattoo on his arm.
Mm-hmm. Then, you obviously seen the tattoo, and obviously that confirms to like Riggs like saying, look, we're dealing with like Special Forces. Like, so basically, like be on the ball, yeah.
Aye.
So.
And then I'm sure that's when they then go to that it looks like there's a wedding going on like outside or something. They're all like sat in like a little field overlooking the sea. It looks like it's a wedding going on in the back. I don't know if it is, but then Glover's in that office talking to.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
Pierre Mertesacker. No, what's his name? Mertesacker. And Riggs is outside by the trace, and it looks like there's like a wedding going on.
Oh, right, I'm with you now. Like, Christ, this is what I mean. Right, I've seen this film a million times, and like, I like for 2 minutes here, I was thinking, where am I in this film?
Yeah.
No, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm being
100%,
serious.
100%,
It
right.
took you there. So now I know where you are, right?
Aye.
With this guy. This is where Roger's like pulling them.
I probably confused you, to be fair, though, because I was talking about a wedding. Obviously, there's no wedding in the film that I can think of.
I think you're talking
But
about Crashers or something.
aye, but it looks like there's a wedding going on outside. Do you know what I
Aye.
mean? The fucking Catalina wine mixer.
Do
Do you know what I mean?
I saw that's where Hurtsucker is.
Murder sucker.
He's basically telling like, look, like I'm heavily involved here, like because they do a lot of the running through the bank.
In over his head, and he's starting to get a bit.
Roger Murtaugh starts getting pissed off with him, didn't he?
Aye. Well, because he keeps like saying to him stuff, like he keeps saying stuff to him, and he's like, "Stop us if I'm wrong."
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? And the guy is just like head
It's like
down.
you entertain these little old pals at first and
yeah.
bullshit and that.
Aye.
Then he just knows that he's more involved than what he's letting on and that. And
But there's a funny line he comes out with because Murtaugh says something about his daughter, and he like says like, "I've got another one," didn't he? And I thought, what?
well, no, I get what he's saying. He's saying like, I've got another daughter, man. I can't like sort of.
Oh, right, is that what he's saying?
I think he's
like he doesn't want them both to get in the
dead.
harm's way. I thought you meant like they're replaceable.
No,
That's what I thought he meant.
no.
That's sorry, I've got a spare. Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought he meant.
I wonder why Riggs is like Riggs is outside while Riggs is outside while this is going on.
Because he's just keeping an eye out, and he doesn't do very well. Doesn't do very well because the fucking
This is
helicopter.
a fucking helicopter.
Yeah.
A fucking blonde guy as well. You seen from miles away. I'll be
So
with it.
it's one of them. Though. He's a hopeless romantic rig, so he ends up watching this wedding that might not even be happening.
Aye, so from there, this guy's at the window. I'm sure he's holding a random carton of milk.
Aye, something.
But and he gets shot.
Aye, great shot.
Aye, from Joshua, who comes up in a helicopter.
Aye. It does come out of nowhere, to be fair. Like it's not like
That's a good shot. It's like
aye.
And then obviously, but I was laughing at like Murtaugh. I had no like sympathy for his mate. He was like, "You got off easy, you bastard."
Aye, he does.
Do you know what I mean?
But it's one of them though. You know, like he was like in over his head, and he was like he was a bad guy in the day. Do you know what I mean? He like. All that shit just doesn't happen to someone who's a good guy. Do you know what I mean? Like he's obviously like dug himself a hole.
That's what I
by
thought
being like.
That's what I didn't like about it. Like he was fucking lying when he.
Aye, basically.
So from then obviously like Riggs tries and shoots at the chopper. Sorry, but it's away in it.
But that's obviously when Joshua gets his first look of Riggs and what's he called again? Roger. I'm gonna call him Roger.
Murtaugh.
I
bet the listeners are screaming, "It's murder!"
I just can't get in my heat at all. So that's when Joshua first sees them two, and that's when obviously he thinks that.
Well, that's from there. That's where Mel Gibson Riggs is in the street talking to another hooker friend of Dixie's.
Aye.
And
he gets blown away, didn't he? Jesus.
It's a good scene.
Well, it's funny actually because obviously I've only seen this like once or twice. Apologies to the listeners. And I thought he was brown bread.
Did you?
Oh, I did. I thought Jesus Christ, he is.
That was good though. Like they obviously thought they killed Riggs.
Aye.
And even like Murtaugh thought he was dead, but then he was like, "Oh, you wore your vest, good lad," and all that.
Aye. But then, like Riggs straight away thinks like they think I'm done. Like so.
He's quick to think.
We've got the one up on them here.
Well, I love Riggs' reaction though, because when you obviously get, but I've never had it myself. Like when you get shot, like he's out of it and he comes around. And his reaction straight away is to just jump up with a gun and sort of like.
Aye. Well, it's like when you see in the UFC in it, like when they've been like knocked down. And like they kind of come round, but they still think they're in fight mode, so they're trying to take the referee down and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So he might have just been knocked out briefly because he hit the window as well. Just went through the window. That would have knocked his heat a bit. Do you know what I mean? So I bet he was a bit startled.
Well, after that, he was like, "I'm pissed, Raj. I'm gonna get these. I'm gonna kill them and all that."
Aye. I think it would like irritate you a bit getting shot.
It would.
Do you know what I mean?
So from there, is it like? I'm sure this is where he takes his daughter.
Yeah, it is because this was the scene.
She's called Rianne, I'm sure.
I don't know. But this was the.
It's Rianne.
This is the scene in the film where I really like perked up. Do you know what I mean?
It is a great scene.
Oh, like unreal. Like Murtaugh pulls the grenade out and that, and well,
before that, right? Like obviously it sets the scene. It shows you like a shot of the desert.
Aye.
And then it's just like a Riggs in psycho mode running across the desert with his gun.
Aye.
Like he's legging it. You know, the breeze in his ear.
Aye,
he wants to get down and get that shot, doesn't he?
Aye, he does.
And they all think he's dead. So.
Aye, finds the perfect spot. But then you've got Murtaugh like trying to talk to these people. I want to see, like show us, make sure like she's okay before we start talking or whatever. And then they drag her out of the car and that, and he's just got this grenade. He pulls this grenade out, doesn't he? If she's gonna die, it's gonna be on my hand, not yours, and all this kind of stuff. Like it's like an unreal scene. But then obviously like, Riggs is lying down like you've just said there, so far away.
Aye.
Looking through the scope, and he keeps saying, Just take a step to the left.
Aye,
Like a little bit to the left.
Yeah, the
little
earpiece,
left.
that would be brilliant.
Aye. And I remember thinking it because like, and then it shows you Murtaugh and he kind of sways like in a direction. I'm kind of thinking, oh, is he going to take this shot? And then he like doesn't. But then
So it's great that like because obviously you haven't seen like some of these films that we talk about.
Nah.
Obviously, you know, I'm 37, you're 32.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Well, 32 in September, but yeah.
Aye. Most of them you've seen, but the very odd one, even though it might be a classic, like there's some things I haven't seen.
Yeah. Well, I saw Lethal Weapon for the first time last year. I did a thing last year. I don't know if you remember, but last year I just went on this like I had this horn for 80s flicks. I just started watching like loads of films I hadn't seen.
That's right, aye.
You were suggesting some, so I watched like a lot of the because I feel like I'm a movie fan, but there's always classics you haven't seen, and I needed shot for some of the ones I hadn't seen. I hadn't seen Rambo, I hadn't seen Running Man, I hadn't seen Total Recall.
Yeah.
So last year I went on this like spree of watching them all. Basically, Lethal Weapon was one of them. So basically, like leading to this podcast was the second time I'd seen it. Like I was brand new.
It's fresh eyes. It's good.
Well, that's the dynamic of the podcast, isn't it? Like you're like the veteran, so to speak, of 80s flicks. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
And you've seen them all because you're a bit older or whatever.
Should be my brother.
I'm fresh eyes. Well, yeah. Well, I'm sure we've got loads of listeners. Well, eventually I have loads of listeners.
Oh, there'll be some of them that you know.
Do you know what I mean? And they'll be even more veteran. Do you know what I mean? But obviously the dynamic of this podcast is you're the veteran and I'm the new guy. Kind of like
what you'll find as well. Like we'll try and stick with timeline, but we'll jump the odd time from scene to scene because we may miss something and we're too good to leave out basically.
Aye.
Like just before they obviously like Roger's daughter gets took, but like Riggs gives him a good little speech in his house. Like he says, even though it's the obvious.
Aye.
He's letting them know like they took your daughter.
Aye.
If you want her back, you're gonna have to get bloody on this.
Aye.
You're gonna have to trust us.
Well, that's not as he says. He says they're gonna kill her. He just tells him like doesn't like beat around the bush. Just look, they're gonna kill her if you want her back.
Then Murtaugh says this only line like he says, "Are you really crazy? Or are you as good as you say you are?"
Aye.
You gotta trust me.
Aye.
I love it.
It's where they end though because I love that because it's like he's both. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he is.
Class little scene. But then obviously going back to the desert, and then it all starts kicking off, and then you really get a proper insight of Riggs' marksmanship, and he's unreal with that gun. Like the shots he's taking.
Oh, he's taking a few of them out, isn't he?
Oh, superb.
Well, they've made the exchange, but the daughter's run into this bloody car. She starts driving off wildly.
Oh, God, awfully as well.
Car.
Doing my head and she was in that car. She like nearly just quickly, she, like when the helicopter's chasing her, she nearly let it land on top of her. I just thought, just swerve slightly left. Do you know what I mean? Jesus.
I've seen this film a million times. I still thought the child was going to pick the car.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought, Jesus Christ, going to just take it away. Yeah,
and I laughed when she got out of the car and she's like, just leave me alone. Boom. Just face plowed in the desert.
Oh, just everything she did was just so irritating. I just thought, just turn slightly left. The
tiny
helicopter. I don't know how old she is.
Oh.
But I great seeing that. But this is again though, just quickly. Obviously, like that. What's he called?
Which one?
Joshua's boss.
That's the one we were talking about before.
Aye. Well,
ironically, he's the main evil guy in Tango and Cash.
Yes.
Don't quote us on that, listeners, but I'm sure
he is. I'm sure he is. But I said what he was called earlier. Anyway, so he's the one that like walks up the rigs with a gun. I just thought he would be better protected. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like the main guy. I thought he would be like the back of the limo.
I know that was a bit mad,
tucked away.
But this is like this is probably good in a way because like we feel like he wasn't big enough to like sort of mention Gary Busey Joshua as the main sort of evil.
I would feel like that, but there's other guys as boss.
Well, this is what I'm saying though. But
crazy.
like you're saying, like you would think the boss would be in the background, like not being protected,
basically.
But he's like a front runner, like with a gun.
Like
you don't normally get that, do you?
Nah, never ever. You know what does he say?
So I think we're justified leaving him out a bit.
What does he say? He puts a gun to the side of his head and goes, "You ain't fast enough, kid," or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
He's dead in real life.
Is
actually, no, that is a bad one. I thought he was dead. I googled him. Yeah, we're just killing people off here, like. But he's either dead or he's like 93 or something.
Jesus.
May as well be dead. That's a joke. That is a joke. Wow. So back to the desert scene. They do the exchange. Obviously,
I wonder if someone's gonna listen. Just quick, I wonder if someone's gonna listen to this podcast, thinking he's still alive, and just be like, "He's dead," and then like send like condolences to his family, and he's just like in the sitting room, like, "What are they talking about?" Do you know what I mean?
I'll be checking it when I get off. Like, I'm sure this is what I'm talking about now. When you were like when we were reviewing Roadhouse, you thought it was John Dalton. It might still be, but I don't think it is personally.
I just googled it. They came up John Dalton. That's why I said
John
it.
Dalton. No, man, Jesus.
You know, it is John.
The name is John Dalton. Like it wouldn't happen.
I just say what Google tells us. Simple as that. But it's one of them as well. Like John's quite like John Rambo. Do you know what I mean? So like John's
That's cool, John Rambo. But John Dalton, fuck that. Not that.
John Dalton sounds like he's going to sell you like some dodgy.
Right, can we get back to the desert?
Sorry, mate.
I'm only joking. No, like, so they have that exchange. That guy's pulled the gun on Riggs, so they've got Riggs now. Then I's alive still. They've got him.
I proper like buzzed off that scene.
So after you were saying. So from there, it goes to them being tortured.
I don't like a mad warehouse.
A warehouse, which I think is attached to a nightclub.
Because
they run through a bit and they're in a nightclub.
But just quickly, like, I'm not joking. I'll speak that when we get to it, actually.
Right, so we're going to go, which I think is an iconic scene as well, because I always remember it from a young, like, I remember thinking, oh, this is horrendous, where Riggs is getting tortured.
Oh, aye.
Like,
there's that hilarious line that you just wouldn't get away with in a film now, and that, like, the Chinese guy turns up with the electric and stuff, and Riggs just goes, who's the chin? Do you know what I mean?
But you know that guy, like, he's in a lot of films in the 80s, that chin. Like, I'm only do you know what I mean? They're going to think I'm really racist.
No, actually, caught in the film. It's not.
So he's in a lot. I couldn't tell him off the top of my head.
Aye,
but I've seen loads of films, and he's always like the random sort of like chinky guy with a gun in there. Do you know what I mean? Though, any Chinese listening, like, we'll love you. So,
yeah.
I saw he's getting tortured, and like Gary Busey's like sort of Joshua's like saying, look, we're expecting a shipment. Riggs is like, call it coke or call it heroin or something.
Aye.
Stop calling it a shipment.
But they're asking Riggs and that about the shipment, weren't they?
Aye.
Something like that. Because they've obviously got like the...
No, what they want to know is they want to know what Hertzsacker told them.
Oh, right, okay. Yes.
Phone.
Yeah, that's right. My apologies.
Not Peter Mercksacker. I said the one in that. So
see, this is why you're here. You keep us read. You keep us read.
I saw that obviously he's getting tortured, and like I think he's being tortured that much because he's like,
aye,
and like the chinky guy says, he says that no one can take that much. Like he doesn't know, and he says, oh, he's a badass forces guy or something like that.
Aye.
So Busey just leaves him to sort of finish him off.
Aye.
Just kill him then, you know.
Aye. Stupidly.
So when he approaches him, I think the guy says to him like, oh, like.
Wait, he humanises himself again, though, doesn't he? He's like, sorry, but he's like, sorry, guy. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
he's like,
Riggs just sticks this class nut on him.
Aye, basically, aye.
And then gets him with his legs.
Aye, then like uses his body to lift himself up, like breaks his neck or whatever, and then like uses the fact that he's high up to unchain himself from the hook.
Class that, man.
Unreal. Aye, really good
scene.
Aye, it is.
So from there, well, in the other room you've got Murtaugh like getting sort of tortured at the same time.
It's funny because they're getting tortured in two different ways. Like he's getting like proper severely tortured, and Murtaugh's like old school, just tied to a chair, getting
mentally like showing him the door, and he's like,
aye,
let me go, I'll kill you all. You
but
bastards.
Just old school, they're just punching him in his face repeatedly, and then showing him his daughter, like you say, mentally and that, and then like tie her up in the corner. You know, I'm pointing at the corner, like to tie her up over there, kind of thing. And but it's old school.
It didn't happen, yeah.
Aye, it's like old school punishment, though. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the old tied to a chair, punching his mouth, kind of thing.
That's right. So. In like burst Riggs, didn't he? Because he sort of gets himself free,
saves the day, kind of thing.
Starts like cracking skulls, breaking necks. That famous break of a neck, when you do that twist.
Aye, unreal, like. But
he's shouting in the background, "Who's next? Who's next?"
But it's funny though, because like, there's like a little like back and forth between Riggs and Murtaugh at this point, and they're like winking at each other or something, don't they? Like,
did they? I didn't clock that.
I'm sure there is like a little nod to say like, oh, I can't remember what it was now, like. But then the free his daughter and that, didn't they?
Right.
I'm
just closing the window in the background, yeah, because didn't want the neighbours spoiling the old podcast.
Well, don't want them getting a taster before it's live. Do you know what I mean?
He loves his films in next door.
Aye.
Oh, aye.
You gotta get him involved.
Illegally, should I say? Right. So I saw from there, obviously Riggs frees them.
Aye, and that's when they go for the club. This is what I was going to say before.
Just a quick one. Like, this is funny. Like. Riggs shoots this random guy. He's got like blonde hair. He goes, "Is that Joshua?" And he's like, "No, it's him."
Yeah. It's just a blonde
and then
blonde
I think
guy.
that's what you were going to say now about.
And then they feed into the club from that point.
That's right.
And leave that guy just hanging off the chain.
That's right.
And then there's a guy just sat at the bar minding his own business.
Fine.
Aye, and Riggs just blows him away. Right, randomly, I thought, how does he even know he was a bad guy? But nobody in the entire club reacts. There's like people just sat having the bait. Like, because like one, do you notice that?
I seen it, but I didn't see him shoot a random guy. It was dark in there.
It was a club.
You know how it gets.
That's because you watch these pirated versions. So he runs out, blows this guy away. That looks like he's just sat at the bar, and then they start running past like all these like cubicles of people sat on the bait, and these people just like mind their own business still. You know, a gunshot's just gone off.
I've seen people eating bait. I'm gonna have to watch that back.
But they might not be eating bait. They just sat in like a cubicle. I just envision them eating bait. They just like sat in a cubicle having a good time. Even though someone's just been like blown away. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously someone on the dance floor, like one of the coolers,
runs up,
pulls a gun out, kind of thing, and then that's when they're starting a gunfight, and that's when everyone in the club kind of reacts. Do you know what I mean? And obviously it spills onto the streets.
Cooler. Shout out to Roadhouse.
Aye.
Get that one watch, guys. Episode 2.
Aye, it was good. It was good. And that's when they pour onto the street. Police officer comes over, and they say, "Where's police officer?" And that's when the offhand.
Well, it's like mayhem in the street, like shooting and that. And...
it's funny though, isn't it? Like it's like watching like some kids with a BB gun, the way they're like shooting each other in the street, like there's no one else there, kind of thing. But obviously there is.
Joshua gets a hold of some poor tot out of her car, like we're out.
Aye, he does. Aye,
I'm sure he keeps a hold of her. He doesn't just let her go.
Why does
After he gets in the car, and he like,
I think that's him like defending
shielding
himself.
hostage kind of thing.
And then eventually like he lets go of her. Aye.
But I thought it's a stupid cow trying to keep hold of her car.
Like, imagine.
I wouldn't do that to him. Like,
it's one of them though, you know. Like she might be one of them spoiled brats, you know. Like my dad just bought this car, he'll kill us if I lose it, kind of thing. I thought it was like an older woman. Fight the end, it might be fair. Me, I did that, but I do remember seeing.
So you got Riggs legging it, having it down the road and that, trying to catch him in a.
I thought he was in barefoot, but suddenly he had shoes on.
Aye.
I don't know if you noticed that, but he's freed himself.
He's picking out bloody spoil, bloopers on his well.
It was one of them things, as he was sprinting down the street, I remember thinking to myself, and I was speaking because Stacey was there at this point, and I actually said like,
shout out to your lass.
Yeah. His feet must be lashing. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, when Joshua comes down off the bridge, and then he's on the bridge kind of thing, he starts shooting him, and he jumps over the bridge kind of thing. He's got these white trainers on. I thought, yeah, he might have put them on earlier, and I've just missed it. To be fair, but I thought he was barefoot. And
so from there,
he tortures the car, didn't he? Unreal.
Aye, well, obviously that Hurtsacker, because Hurtsacker, he's obviously made his getaway as well. This is the guy we're talking about before. You know the evil guy. You got Joshua on the street.
Hurtsacker's the guy who got killed with a milk carton, isn't he?
Aye, thanks for reading us back in. We need to find out that guy's name.
The General. I'm sure he's called the General.
Is he called the General?
I'm sure he's called the General. Bear with us. But you make the point you're going to make, and I'll teach it.
Well, the General, not Hurtsacker or Peter Mertsacker, right?
Peter Mertsacker.
Well, he makes his getaway, and he's in a car, and he's just driving wildly, and Danny Glover sort of like Murtaugh like obviously shoots at the car.
What a shot! Why unreal!
Aye. And he goes flying into a bus, didn't he, in the street?
It's on theWi-Fi.
Sorry, I'll catch that later. I'm sure the listeners are like screaming about.
I'm sure it is the General.
He probably have a first name like.
No, I'm sure that's.
So do you know what I'm on about? He gets shot by Murtaugh. He flies into a bus.
Great scene that because he says though, the General says like, "Kill this cop bastard," didn't he? And then they start like accelerating towards him, and then Murtaugh just turns, just does his little routine that he's got. Does he clip his neck or something?
Aye, before he shoots.
Because it shows you like just going back with miss a scene here when they go to the shooting range. Oh, and then Murtaugh does his little thing, he cracks his neck and that he gets himself ready and he takes that shot.
How funny is that? I remember that shooting range scene like just about 10 minutes before and I thought, well, we're far too gone. But
it's relevant to this scene though, do you know what I mean?
I don't know about you, but I've always fancied doing that. Like,
or always.
You know, like
me mate, just quickly, Charlie went to Poland and went to a shooting range with a shotgun. Oh, it was lethal. Yeah, I had a video before. I've deleted it now, like, but it was unreal to see. Like, and I thought it must be like the power you must feel in your hands.
Let's do it, me. Like,
I thought it was
Keanu
There's one in There's not one in Clean or something.
There might be, but it's not the degree when you see Keanu doing it like on YouTube. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
John Wick style. That, do you know what I mean?
You're probably not allowed to do stuff like that. It'll just be like Lethal Weapon, wouldn't it? Where it's
a bit
of paper.
No, you can do that one, but you can do what Keanu did in that. But like in America, I know these like certain gun law states.
I was there not long ago, America, and I was looking at going to a shooting range and that when I was in Orlando, but I just thought, that'll be the day something goes on. But anyway, going back to the film. That's when obviously he does his little routine, shoots the thingamajig, and then obviously like Riggs
flies into a bus,
and then Riggs does the smiley face on the shooting range thing, didn't he? Unreal that. So going back to where we were, he does his little thing again, as if to say, like, right, it's time to shoot him right in the middle of the head, kind of thing. And then
this isn't practice.
Basically, like, and then boom, like, nailed it straight away. And
so from there he flies. I think he must shoot the other guy in the car who's driving, because
he shoots the
and then the other one obviously tries to
the driver, and the general tries to
bus.
save it, and then the bus wipes it out.
Bus
and then
the car flips, and there's grenades. He's got grenades in there.
And
he's stuck, and he can't sort of get out.
It's funny actually, because he's got loads of coke in the car. Obviously, the coke's like burst open, so he's like covered in white powder. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
Did you not notice it? He's like covered in white powder. He looks like Mike Marv, Home Alone. Is it Home Alone 2?
It was funny.
Covered in white powder.
Had that, like,
so funny.
Had there been some bystanders who maybe took drugs in the street, they would have been like, oh shit, should I run over?
I had the cars on fire. But
fucking
free coke. Imagine free coke. But I don't know if you noticed this as well. But the bus driver, you know, just had an accident, is aware this car's just obviously on fire.
He does a reverse.
He like reverses away.
Like, fuck. Do you want to be involved with this?
Aye. The only thing missing from that scene was beep, beep.
So
beep.
you know when the car explodes, Murtaugh does like a pretty like evil laugh. He's just like, like looking like funny as fuck.
Unreal. Then it just blows up, doesn't it?
So from there, like
Joshua's got away at this
Joshua
point.
Like turns up at Murtaugh's house.
Because Joshua's got away, so Riggs reunites with Murtaugh, and he's like, and Murtaugh straight away goes, "He'll be going for my family" or something like that.
He knows where I live.
So that's it. He knows where I live. So they hightail it to Murtaugh's house.
So, I tell us classic, like, obviously, fast forward to Joshua in the house, and he's like, there's a little sign on the Christmas tree, like saying no. What was it? No bad guys or something. Do you remember the sign on the tree? There's like a little note on the tree. We'll have to look at what it exactly says, but it's basically saying that no one's there. And then all of a sudden, this cop car comes flying through the sitting room window.
It does. And then Joshua goes to check it out, sees it's been left in the him, and then you just hear that awesome.
That the rig sort of like.
And there's a gun. I loved that whistle.
For me, that sets up the last iconic scene, which is the scrap.
Which was similar to Roadhouse. That face off that we've been craving this entire film, but again a bit ahead of its time, because they're both into martial arts and that. There's a few like moves getting thrown out there that are popular in the UFC now. You know, there's arm bars, there's triangles. Because there was a scene.
Riggs is class of that.
There was a scene on Roadhouse where he had the opportunity for an arm bar, and it looks like he's going to take it, but he just like flops the ground kind of thing. And I thought with him being a martial artist, he might have used it, but he didn't. Mm-hmm. Then obviously Lethal Weapon like delivered on it, and obviously like that was like. So it's 6 years before the UFC even came about, kind of thing. So
it's obviously like Riggs versus Joshua, martial artist versus like Psycho who can take pain. Joshua, you know.
Well, they're both martial artists, though.
Because you can tell once he starts fighting and that.
Yeah.
But what I love about it, it's obviously it's in the rain, and then you've got the helicopter above and the lights shining down on them. And like Murtaugh says to all his workmates, like sort of like he says like, look, let them.
Well, I read a review, actually, just quick. I read a review earlier, and they were saying how that scene was unrealistic because all the coppers just stood and let them fight. And as you were about to say there, Murtaugh says...
He killed 2 of 1.
Yeah, let them go. Do you know what I mean? Like, let them fight. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. So I read that and I thought, this guy hasn't been watching the film.
So they have like a mint back and forth.
Unreal.
I'm sure Joshua gets like a fucking 4x4 at some point. He gets some sort of stick. And Murtaugh hides him like he's batting.
It is a unreal scene that. But I remember thinking as well, because it was raining that obviously like they'll be doing like that front lawn near justice. Do you know what I mean? Be wrecking this grass.
Roger saying grass. That was unreal. So they have the scrap back and forth. He's doing a few rear naked chokes and Alice.
So good. And
then at one point Joshua gets a bit of Riggs and he's like trying to drown him in a puddle. And Murtaugh shouting, he's like, shall I step in? He's like, no.
What was it I said the other day, in it, like with their Roadhouse, with the false finishes, as they call it in wrestling, you know, like they've got to make it look like the bad guy is going to win. Do you know what I mean? So you're like, I can't believe it. Riggs is going to get drowned in a muddy puddle on the front garden.
Riggs obviously gets him in one of these leg holds, and he could break his neck. But he says he's not worth it. Like, and then he sort of like walks off towards Murtaugh, didn't he?
That's right.
And then they're arresting this Joshua, and they must have slipped or something, and he sort of gets his hand into the copper's gun.
That's right.
Guns to kill.
And then both of them at the same time.
Riggs takes one out of Murtaugh's pocket.
And
then you see the 2 hands like shooting him.
Unreal, and they just pull the trigger at the same time. Class.
That is class.
Absolutely class. And then obviously it ends where Riggs turns up at Murtaugh's door Christmas Day, and he's got the bullet like a bonnet, and he like give that to your dad.
As if to say he doesn't need it now.
Like so symbolic that like.
And he tells him, I'm not crazy.
That
is brilliant. And then it's Christmas dinner, and it sort of ends, doesn't it?
Basically, and he's like, Aye, and he's like, "Do you want to come and try my wife's cooking again?" And he's like, "Well, not really," but and then he comes in, doesn't he? Aye, and that's it. Lethal Weapon 1 done in the books.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a bit of a slow burn at the start. I will say it.
Yeah.
But I think once it picks up, it picks up big style and delivers. It really does.
I loved
it really
it from
does.
a young age watching that, like watching Riggs unpredictable, loose cannon. Just,
yeah,
I always remember watching it thinking, what's he gonna do next? What's he gonna do next?
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I just feel like there was just some scenes that were a bit drawn out. But if you're gonna watch it for the first time off the back of this podcast, stick with it because it does deliver.
Aye.
In my opinion, it really does deliver. And fully enough, going through this review, it's made us realise how much I did enjoy it. Because just quickly, me and Carl were talking yesterday about it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a bit unsure." I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But reliving it now and talking about it and stuff, I'd probably give it like a 7 now. Maybe even push it to a 7.5.
Oh, it's up there for me. Like it's between 8 and 10, definitely. The sequels are another matter, like, but there's some good bits in it.
We'll cross them on a different time.
Date.
Aye,
but if anyone's got any comments or anything like that, or
yes, 100%. If you've got any correspondence, email us at b2bmoviepod@gmail.com or contact us on Twitter at b2bmoviepod.
I've just started a Twitter page.
We've just started the Twitter. And any correspondence, any feedback, any suggestions, anything at all, get in touch and give a follow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and any and all feedback's appreciated, basically.
Right, that's about it, isn't it?
About it.
Lethal Weapon done.
Lethal Weapon is in the books.
Right, so until next time.
Be excellent with each other.
Yeah, as always. Peace out.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.